Buddha head statues have become immensely popular over the past decade. And despite the fact that some people erroneously believe that these statues are offensive, more on this below, they make a wonderful addition to any meditation room. There are a wide range of Buddha statues available today. These Buddha statues vary from small tabletop statues to very large garden statues. There are statues of Buddha in poses too, such as meditating Buddha statues and statues where Buddha is under the Bodhi tree, where he achieved enlightenment. One of the most popular of all statues, however, are the Buddha head statues. It is the head-on Buddha that symbolizes his wisdom and the pathway to enlightenment. All the methodology of the Dharma is contained in the head of the Buddha. By placing a Buddha head statue in the home or garden, we remind ourselves of the wisdom of the Buddha. That is why a Buddha head statue is one of the best items any Buddhist can buy. And they also make wonderful gifts for Buddhists too. Best Buddha heads to buy. Recommended Buddha head statue for garden. John Timberland meditating Buddha head 18.5 high by 11 inches wide by 10.5 deep. Very highly detailed faux weathered stone finish, lightweight cast resin. This Buddha head bust statue shows the Buddha contemplating. It is a very calming and relaxing Buddha head statue which works well in the garden. The faux stone finish subtly blends into the garden so that it doesn't stick out too much. The quality actually makes it look like a much more expensive piece, but the price is very reasonable. Plus, the manufacturer, Lamps Plus, is highly regarded. Small Buddha head statue for home. Tablet oak. Inexpensive, good attention to detail. Small god for desk, tabletop. If you are looking for a small and inexpensive Buddha head for home or tabletop that is cheap but doesn't look it, I recommend this one. It has a nice bronze finish and stands 6.5 inches tall. For the price it features good attention to detail. And it's small enough to put on your desk. The meaning of Buddha heads. Buddha head statues represent the wisdom of the Buddha and the methodology of Buddhist Dharma, the laws and philosophy of Buddhism. Good Buddha head statues represent two sides of Buddha. On the one hand, statues of Buddha's head appear calm and youthful, representing the peaceful way of the Buddha. But they also echo the Buddha's wisdom and mysticism. The overall effect is that the Buddha head statue is a friend who is there to help us with kindness, and at the same time to lead us with guidance. What the different features of Buddha heads mean. Buddha's Ushnisha. At the top of a Buddha head statue you will see the three-dimensional oval called the Ushnisha. This is the Buddha's hair gathered into a shinyan. However, it's also much more than a hairdo. Buddha's Ushnisha symbolizes the knowledge and religious ideals of the Buddha. Buddha's hair is referred to as the weeds of ignorance. Cutting off the hair is representative of freeing oneself of ignorance. This is reflected in the story of the Buddha. When he was at the palace, living a life of luxury, Buddha had long curly hair. He then cut his hair off when he left the palace in search of enlightenment. Buddha's third eye. The third eye on Buddha head statues is shown as a small dot between the eyebrows. This represents the Ajna chakra, or third eye chakra, and has great spiritual significance. The third eye is the seat of spiritual awakening. The dot reminds the owner of the Buddha head to practice meditation and follow the spiritual path towards enlightenment. Buddha's eyes. The majority of Buddha statues have the Buddha's eyes partially or completely closed. This represents meditation and symbolizes looking inward, beyond materialistic desire. Buddha's ears. Buddha's ears are depicted as long and bulgy and are said to represent the compassion of the Buddha. It is a reminder that the Buddhist should hear the world and the people around them, and look for ways to help other beings. Buddha's nose. Buddha's nose is long and aquiline. This is not said to represent any specific power or quality of the Buddha, other than elegance. Meditating to Buddha head statues. So now you know the best Buddha statues to buy and what they mean. You might like to know how to meditate to a Buddha statue. Here is a simple way to meditate to a Buddha head statue. Sit in front of the Buddha head. Take a few moments just to relax. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Focus on the Buddha statue the way you would do when practicing samatha meditation. As you meditate on the Buddha statue, observe the positive traits you associate with Buddha. There is compassion, love, kindness, wisdom. As you come across these qualities, take a moment to visualize yourself living by these same qualities. How could you be compassionate, loving, kind and wise? What could you do today to be like Buddha? Challenge yourself to do one thing based on the qualities above. For instance, you could make a compassion action by helping someone nearby with something they are suffering from. Challenge yourself to go out and do that one thing. Why some people think Buddha heads are offensive? It appears some people have become confused about the meaning of Buddha head statues. Indeed, some people believe that Buddha head statues are offensive. So let us clarify. The reason some people believe Buddha head statues are offensive is because the head is decapitated. They see the Buddha head as being severed from the body of Buddha. And they believe this is done to represent Western colonialism. In actual fact, such violent ideas have absolutely nothing to do with Buddha head statues. As we've so if you are worried you may somehow offend a Buddhist with your Buddha head statue, fear not. There is nothing in the least bit offensive about them. They are in fact a sign of love and admiration for Buddha. Also consider the fact that head statues are popular in all religions. There are head statues of Christ, of Vishnu, and of virtually any god or deity you could name. The same is even true for political figures. There are thousands of head statues of Lincoln and Churchill, for instance, and there is nothing remotely offensive about them. What does your Buddha head mean to you? Buddha head statues mean different things to different people. To me, the Buddha head reminds me to live a life of peace, and to be compassionate both to other people, which I find easy, and also compassionate to myself, which is more of a challenge. Every time I see a Buddha head statue I remember to step